Good morning and welcome back to Kraków for the PGL Major Kraków 2017. It's day number 4, which means it's do or die for every single team in action today. We've got 14 teams. My maths is bad this morning. 14 teams still in the running to try and get through to the quarters, but also on the bubble for leaving the major itself. Yesterday we saw Big Clan and, of course, Gambit going through to that quarterfinal, whilst Vega Squadron and FaZe sadly departed. So that is 12 teams. What am I talking about? I don't even know maths this morning. Good morning and welcome to the panel once more. We've got Moses alongside Fifth Laren to bring you all the action this morning. We're going to get into it in a moment in terms of today and what it means and everything, but let's just reflect back on yesterday a little bit. It was a crazy day yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a wild ride. Big doing a great job qualifying for the major. Obviously, that's stunning. I mean, and then it's only compared to like FaZe dropping out 0-3, right? So those are like the two
ends of the shock,
right? And then no one, I don't think anyone would have predicted that Big would have been the first team to go through, along with Gambit as well, which is just craziness. So what a day!
I had 2 correct results yesterday in my predictions out of 8.
I'm not sure if that's something you want to share with us.
No, I mean,
you're used to really good scorelines like that.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. No, but I think that it just shows how good these teams are coming into this major, right? Like when the favorites are even not even in the running.
Yeah,
you
it's
have
wild,
Astralis playing today as well. Yeah. Top 2 team in the world. FaZe already out. SK was set to win. Colter has 98 kills over the past 3 maps. Like, how are these teams still in groups, right?
Yeah, no, it's bonkers. Unreal. I mean, it was a crazy day with lots of crazy results, and it feels like a crazy major this time out. Are you on board with the theory that maybe we get a surprise winner this time round?
No.
Do you think once it gets to the best of 3s,
not at all.
like because it's best of 1s, isn't it? And I don't want to detract from any of the teams that have played best of 1s and done well, or lost for that matter. But it is a different style of Counter-Strike, isn't it, when you get that one map?
Yes, and also, I mean, the big thing that we've seen from teams like SK and Astralis is their ability to improve within a tournament, right? Like, these guys just keep playing well. We've seen SK, such as just at Cologne, struggle in the group stages. You know, they lost to Space Soldiers to open up that event, and they go on to just crush everyone. So we see them continually improve as the tournament goes on throughout the different, the stages, the quarterfinals, the semifinals. And this team, honest to God, they almost look unbeatable. And I remember watching them just like not last night, but like through the first couple days, and I'm just thinking the only team that's going to be able to beat these guys is Virtus.pro if we get them in like the classic plow mode. Like if you actually get them all like just running on that level that we know they can hit. So it's a pretty intimidating fair, but there's definitely teams obviously that are showing good form, good results. This tactical style from teams like Flipside from Big, really cool to watch and really cool to see it come back into the meta and be effective.
Let's take a look at the standings then and show you where we are right now. As we head into day 4, there are 2 rounds to play today as well. Plenty of teams in action. On the left-hand side, teams that are getting a day off right now for the positive reasons are Gambit and Big, and for the bad reasons are FaZe and Vega on the right-hand side. All of the teams in the middle, however, all 12 of them have something to play for today, separated, of course, by 2 1s and 1 2s. We'll start things off this morning with the 1-2 matches, and we'll show you the schedule in just a moment, and we'll kick things off with Mouse versus Cloud9. But there are absolutely massive games today, not just Mouse Cloud9, but Penta versus Flipside. Remember, the loser is done, and Na'Vi versus Fnatic is also a Swiss lower bracket round 4 matchup, which means the loser goes home. We then move on to the winning side of the bracket with the 2 1s, G2 versus Astralis, massive game for both of those, North versus Virtus.pro and SK versus Immortals. And then there is another 3 games after that as well. We've got a long day today for all of these teams. So those last 3, obviously, Jason, a chance to qualify. They want to try and take it now because that's a difficult section of teams, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is. There's a lot of big names in there, a lot of teams that you expect to be in the top 8. And then also, I mean, the 1-2 group is just as intimidating. There's some big, scary teams in there. And also, when you think that 3 of those teams from each one are going to meet up with each other in the next round, that's even worse to think about. So it's a rough road if you're one of the 1 and 2 teams because you have a tough match to start the day, and then you're obviously going to have a very difficult match at the end of the day to try and qualify. Yeah,
that's a big thing, isn't it, for Flan? With the we come in early and you play a first match, and then you might have to come back last thing at night and play another one.
At least it gives you a chance, right? You focus on this one game that you're playing right now, and then you have a few hours, I'd say, to go through and possibly look into your opponents, but you have to go look at every single game, right? Because you re-seed again, or you have no idea who you're playing the 4th round. So if you're unlucky, you might end up playing a team that you really didn't want to play, right? So that's my pet peeve a little bit with the Swiss system, because you never really know what you're getting. Now, I'm not saying like Gambit and didn't have tough games, right? And same with Big. Big played 3 of the playoff teams that Big won.
2 of the best teams in the world, right?
Yeah. So it's like it really depends, right? But I feel like for the favorite teams here, like Astralis, for SK, for their sake at least, they're going to have to win today. They're going to have to win this 2-1 game, just make it to the playoffs, make it a little bit easier for the rest of the people, right? Because you don't want to end up being matched up against, for example, like SK for the last game, right? That's just tough luck.
Yeah,
imagine that. That would be depressing,
right?
Wouldn't it?
if you draw SK. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's not get there just yet.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves because there's still plenty of Counter-Strike to play, plenty to see whether these teams can come through. We're going to get into our first match next, and it's mousesports versus Cloud9. A very recent history, of course, between these two teams. Although mousesports haven't won since the E-League major back in January against this side. So plenty to play for both of those teams. Before we get the opinions of both Moses and Fifth Flaren, let's get the opinions of our virtual host on the panel. It is, of course, the one and only Thorin with more Chronicles.
mousesports was a team dominated for the last year or so by one name, and that was the player Nico, because Nico legitimately was one of the 2 or 3 best players in all of Counter-Strike, an incredibly complete player and a very, very dominant player offline. So every time you watched mousesports, you just looked to see what could Nico do. Is Nico good enough to carry this team? People even nicknamed them in almost a derogatory fashion, Nico Sports, as though they were just about this one player. Now, over that period of time that they had him, they tried some roster moves, and some of them had a little success, but in general, the core style of the team remained fairly similar, and the lack of results continued to haunt them. So while Nico was amazing, mousesports wasn't amazing. Now, with Nico's departure, they were able to integrate a couple of players into this lineup that they hadn't used before and get a very different flavor to mousesports. So whereas before it was just Nico, he was the one star and he had to carry the game, now it's very much more done by committee in mousesports. Now they've got a whole bunch of talented players. They've got a much more multinational team even. They brought in even more kind of disparate elements together. And so the average skill level of the team has risen a lot. The style of play of the team has changed a lot. They've moved out some of the core players and people have switched around some of the roles. And so this mousesports is nothing like the Nico Sports of yesteryear. Instead, this is a team that doesn't rely on a player like Nico. Obviously, he's not there anymore. But they don't even just rely on the superstar in terms of Oscar. They've got a pretty solid team throughout the squad, many of them inexperienced, some of them quite young, and they're a team that's really got a lot of potential. And it feels like as the tournaments go on, they improve steadily, they beat out tier 2 teams, and now finally we're seeing not only can they upset the tier 1 teams, but it's only really the elite tier 1 teams that consistently can get a win over them. So it feels like they have moved up the ranks and they've proven they've started a new legacy that's nothing to do with Nico. It's something special in its own right, and we want to see can that continue at the level of the majors. The star player of mousesports is Oscar, and he is a player who has quite a confusing history, because in terms of playing at the top level internationally, you'd look and you'd say it's only really been happening for the last 1 to 2 years in CSGO. But he is a player who was playing a decade ago in Counter-Strike 1.6. But back at that time, we didn't have multinational teams. If you were a player from a lesser region that didn't have very good teams in your area, you had no choice. You were just locked into playing with those teams, and your fortunes would go as those teams go. So Oscar was around, he was in the Czech Republic, he was playing with teams from that region, and people were aware on some level that this is a talented player, perhaps he's someone with potential, but there was no opportunity to go elsewhere, to find a better team and to really have the platform to show off his skills on the international level. So that talent was just resigned to smaller tournaments or qualifiers or the odd online game or occasionally a frag movie. We didn't really get to see what would happen if Oscar was on a team good enough where he could go head to head with, well, nowadays the likes of a Cold Zera, a Nico. Well, now we get to see that in mousesports, and the results have been pretty favorable overall. Because as soon as he came into the team when Nico was around, already online, you start to see some rumblings that, hey, these two could be a superstar duo. In Hellraisers, he'd been the Nico of that team. He was the primary carry, and the rest of the team really just lived and died by his level of play. And against Tier 2, it was very good. In mousesports, he was playing against Tier 1. Initially, he had some problems in the team. He was in and out of the lineup. Towards the end of Nico's tenure, he came back in. He had his own good performances at DreamHack Vegas. And ever since Nico departed from the team, Oscar has really kind of inherited the mantle of the star player of the team, and he has lived up to it. He has had some super duper performances, phenomenal level of play. He really is a LAN player. He's also someone where he was known to have a good rifle before the Hellraisers days, but since then, we know him as one of the world's best AWPers. He's someone who's got a pretty fast AWP, very reliable, and there's a reason why individual players in Europe, even outside the context of mousesports, really rate this guy as one of the best talents we have and one of the most skilled players. And so even though in terms of his actual age, he's getting up there, you know, he's been playing a long time, because he hasn't played at the top level, this top international level where he has a chance to prove himself, I feel like he's still a very hungry guy. And he's a guy who wants to prove that it wasn't just being stuck in that country, like I was just a big fish in a small pond. He wants to show he's one of the world's best players. And in mousesports, he's finally got the vehicle where he can do that. The newest member of mousesports is a fantastic story in his own right. If you look back to when mousesports was dominated by Nico, that was a storyline that could have come from a movie. A guy just comes from Bosnia, a little country without much history in Counter-Strike, becomes arguably the best player in the world, playing for a multinational team, even if the team itself wasn't at his level, and he's kind of really exceeding expectations at every level. That's a pretty cool story, but we already roughly knew who Nico was before mousesports. People knew he was a talent, people knew from that region he was one of the rising stars who one day could do something. In terms of ropes, people literally only knew who this guy was, coming from Estonia, thanks to playing in FPL, thanks to playing with other pro-level players just in online mix games, never playing at a competitive level, never playing for any team even at tier 3, never playing online tournaments with people. He had someone who has a completely blank slate. And so when he finally accepted the offer to come and play for a professional team, and it was mousesports, a multinational team where someone like him could get a break, there was a lot of eyes on him, a lot of attention, and people generally were probably wondering, is he going to fail? And the fact that he's never played at a competitive level, but he's been thrown straight in there in big offline tournaments, playing against some of the best teams in the world, playing with some experienced players and some very good players as well, but from a totally different culture, totally different background with no kind of links together throughout their history. I think that really shows that his talent is transferring itself over to competitive play. And he still has some levels to go to match what he's done in FPL when he just plays and everyone's playing a mixed style. But he's clearly a talent. He's someone who's still very young. He's growing. He's getting his experience. And we look to him down the line. Can he be a superstar player? Can he one day inherit kind of the spot of being the #1 guy in mousesports and therefore one of the best players in the world? The thing that Ropes is actually primarily known for as well, that I think is a really positive sign for him, is he's not just an aim star. He's not just a guy who gets a lot of frags and that's why he gets his attention. People have noted that he's someone, when he did play those FPL games with other professional players who know all the ins and outs and what to do, he's someone who showed himself to have a pretty good game sense, to have a good feel for what's happening in a match, to make intelligent plays, to outplay people on a cerebral level. And I feel like that's a quality that actually a lot of young rookies, rising stars, they have the aim, they have the explosive capabilities, the raw mechanical skill, but oftentimes it's the veterans you expect to have the cerebral approach to the game, the good feel for the game. So I feel like coming in early with that is something that's going to stand him in very good stead and help him adapt to the professional scene very quickly.
There's the lowdown from Thorin on mousesports. We'll also get the lowdown on the team, and in particular one of those players right at the very end of Thorin's thoughts there, Rops from our panel members right now. Jason, this is a young man. He's 17 years of age. He was born after Counter-Strike came out. He's already got an ace at his first major. He was also the top-rated player at the offline qualifying amongst a multitude of fantastic players. When are we going to start talking about this kid as potentially as good as Nico, maybe even better than Nico, maybe a world-class player that could be at the very top?
He has to get there first, right? I mean, he's not quite at Nico's level. The big thing is there's a lot of conversation, a lot of potential in this kid, very, very apparent as well. The big thing he has to work on, and Duncan mentioned it, is, he has a little bit of it, but you have to start incorporating the entirety of the game. You have to start learning how to use your skill set within a team framework. You have to start doing it within how the game is progressing and use the game sense. And you have to develop those other areas, because obviously when you look at him and you watch him in FPL, the talent and the skill and the raw mechanics of aiming and movement, it's all there. All the good pieces are there. All the things that you can't really teach are there. It's where he has to learn the experience of playing against these teams at this level, level, the best teams in the world, how they move across the map, how they respond to certain situations, and he has to be able to make the good decisions from that. So as soon as he starts getting better in that aspect, he's already very, very good at it. He just needs to get better, and it's going to be something where we'll just see if he gets to that level.
And he has the perfect name for it as well.
Yeah.
Robin Cool.
So what it's called?
Yeah.
Same name?
It's a strong first name, isn't it?
Strong first name, strong
I just feel
second
like
name.
he reminds me so much of Stewie a little bit in that regard of how they came to the game, right? Because I feel 17 years old, probably came from CSGO, his first CS he's ever played. So he has, just mechanically, he knows this game inside and out, whereas for an old player, you have to relearn it, right? And that's a little bit tougher. But I'd say that when I look at mousesports, I definitely see Rops being the up-and-coming star where I see right now, and keep in mind, Oscar hasn't even been in the top scene for that long either, but I see Oscar as the star player, and I see Rops as the guy that just could potentially show up and just destroy people. As Jason was saying, I do think that he still needs a little bit of time. You do see some tendencies sometimes of like the aim is there,
but the point is there. It's very exciting to have a player like this coming through and already playing at a major.
Definitely.
And there was that whole conversation that swirled around a little bit on Twitter. I know Lurpus was embroiled in it, as he usually is, about how...
No, why?
Yeah, right? Imagine that. But about how players, you know, sometimes there was like that whole tweet about how like becoming a professional player is a little bit political. It's like who you know rather than what you can do. And I think this is a perfect situation. This is a perfect case of it. That's not true at all. And there's so many opportunities now with streaming, with FPL, with Rank S, that you can find your way to rise through the ranks and get your skill noticed by people and given a chance. Like everyone's looking for a youngster that's not signed to a contract. Like there's no reason why any of these younger players who are showing potential can't be picked up by a team. So there's a lot of avenues, and this is just one way where we've seen it with Stewie. We've seen it with Rops now. And these guys definitely deserve their chance with what they've shown us, and it's just all about growing and developing from there.
How do you feel mousesports have performed at this major?
Pretty good. I mean, they're still... It's nothing where they've kind of... Some of their other tournaments, there's a lot of excitement around this team based on how good they've been without Nico. And I think that's kind of got a lot of us caught up in the fact that we all thought they were just going to just kind of fade away just when they didn't have that star. Their results at tournaments haven't been all that great. Like, you know, despite us saying, you know, they look better, they're playing better, they haven't actually achieved those results that are just like, wow, right? So it's right in line with that, I guess. You know, it all depends. I think they need to get out of groups to finally justify a lot of this hype and excitement about this lineup.
Okay, maybe a longer-term investment in talent, though. Let's move on to Cloud9. Robin, again, same question really for them. How have you assessed their tournament? Because having had a good ESL 1 Cologne and then come here and actually look pretty good in all of their 3 games, but they've ended up 1-2. It almost seems, how did they do that?
And again, I go back to the Swiss system, right? If you look at the draw, they've been extreme. They've been a little bit unlucky. They lost to Big, lost to G2 in overtime, and the one game that they won was versus North. So I wouldn't say, I definitely think that they've improved throughout the 2 months they've been in Europe. And then when you match them against mousesports, I also have Cloud9 going through to the playoffs. I think that this game is super exciting. I think that I definitely think they have more to give. I feel like Shroud, the guy on the screen right now, hasn't had the best of tournaments. Obviously had some issues as well, but I think that if he gets a little bit activated, because that's what we saw at ESL 1. He was really good in
probably
certain
his
games.
Tournament of his career, didn't he?
Exactly, right? And then coming into the major, hasn't really shown up that much. And then that's one of the guys that you look to in Cloud9, the guy that gets the most criticism as well, where it's like, well, he needs to step up in order for this team to win. And that's something that I feel like has been missing throughout this tournament.
I feel like we as analysts have been very nice at this event. We've praised.
You've been far too nice.
We've been praising teams for getting close and not quite getting over the hump. We've been all happy about what the potential they're showing.
Hold on. What was it Sponge said yesterday? Teacher Sponge said we've been awarding a lot of A's for effort.
Yeah, we have been, and I don't know why that's.
Okay, feel free to let loose.
No, but I mean, it's just in general. Like, I mean, even just what I said about mousesports. Yeah, they look cool. Like we have this potential, but this is the major, right? Like nothing matters if you don't qualify.
Sure.
Like you know, you can play as good as you possibly can and not qualify, and at the end, that's a bad result. All these teams, I mean, I had mousesports and Cloud9 going through, getting out of groups and getting to the top 8, and it's just not going to work that way with the Swiss system the way it is. But this Cloud9 team certainly, you know, especially with that result in Cologne, this is a team that should be qualifying for the playoffs. And then, you know, they've had those matches. Obviously G2 is there. They kind of had a chance to win that one, obviously, in overtime. You know, got beat up by Big, but mousesports as well, 2 games lost in overtime. You know, you just have to make the playoffs. That's just what it comes down to when you're at the major.
I'm glad you mentioned overtime Because the last time these two met, it
It's
was
overtime.
overtime.
It's
Double
almost
overtime.
like we had that scripted.
It
Paul.
was, wasn't it? Nice segue, Jason. Checks in the post. So, in theory, this should be a very tight game because of their previous results, because of the way that they've both been playing here and recently as well. Is there a reason why it might not be, and it might be end up one-sided one way or the other? Is there a an X factor in here? Is it a Shroud going crazy? Is it nothing coming big? What is it?
It's one of the big things I've seen out of Cloud9 is how good they are at times. I've mentioned this before, like the momentum Counter-Strike. Their style is very, very good for that. The fast-paced brand of Counter-Strike that they can play at times, and when they have control of that economy, they can do it. And I never thought I would say this leading up to this event, but I think they've been playing too passively and too slowly, and it seems like they've kind of switched, right? Like yesterday was all slow, and now we're going to see the map veto. So yeah, it also depends on which map it is and where the economy goes.
I honestly think it's going to go back to Inferno, the rematch that we had at ES1 Cologne, where we did end up getting...
We've had a lot of Inferno this event.
Yeah, we have. But it also reverts back to the best of one, right? Where it's like it's a very, very balanced map. You don't necessarily take too many gambles, especially when it comes to group stages.
But I also think teams all feel like they can beat anyone on it. Do you know what I mean? Because there's not a settled kind of tier of
and there's a
this
reason.
team is amazing
exactly.
on it and we won't
there's
play
a
them
reason
on it.
why Inferno is the most played map in playoff or in majors, right? Now we didn't end up getting Inferno. We did end up getting Train instead, which is a little bit exciting.
Yeah, that is actually quite exciting. That's got me.
It's also something that they haven't played between these two before, because they had played 4 different maps in their 5 matches that they previously matched up against each other this year. So it's something new for both the teams.
It's a bit of a scary pick because it has been a good map for Cloud9 in the past. This is a map they've been pretty proficient on. They have a really strong T side on this map, but also it's one that mousesports has recently added into their pool. I think they're like 3-0 on it now, and they hadn't played it before the major qualifier. So just in the last month or so, they're feeling very, very comfortable on this map. I love talking to Chris J. I think it was it 2 days ago that we had Chris J on after their win, and it was asked about in-game leading and everything like that, and he's like, you know what, I didn't pick these players. I just kind of got handed them. I didn't make those decisions, but I've got this team, and everyone's loving it, which is just very funny. But this is a map that they struggled on, previously with Nico in the lineup. They didn't really know how to play it, and now all of a sudden you get new guys in this that have new abilities, and you have this coach who's been playing very well, who has this team at a good level, and all of a sudden this is a dangerous map for them.
I love the conversation that's going on right now. I can slightly guess what's going on because Chris has told me a couple of things about how it works with them. So just before, once they get trained, literally he's in his ear going, okay, remember what we said about this and what we're going to do when we get to round 5, or how we're going to set this up on CT. So they're going through that right now. That's not a relationship that happens in every team, is it?
No, but especially
in the way that he's doing it right now. That's all pre-planned. We kind of figure out where the map's going to go. So maybe they're a little surprised here.
Probably not that surprised. I think more so it's just because Chris being a new in-game leader, he's probably giving him a couple pointers to remember to keep in his head, because Chris even mentioned it yesterday, 2 days ago, he said he had all smiles, right? He was like, I felt really good calling this game, and it's like, well, cherish that memory, because most games are going to be hell as an in-game leader.
I remember seeing that actually. It was so cute. It's like,
I wanted to tell
I feel
him.
like I called super
He's so cute, right?
Remember
Bless
this
him.
feeling.
Bless him. He
You're
doesn't
not gonna
know
have
what's
that all
coming.
the time.
They don't all go that way.
Just wait for that one game where you get 1 T around, you're like,
Yeah.
remember that.
And then everyone, all your teammates come up to you after and they're like, why did we call that? Why did we do this strategy? And you're just like,
that's the thing. It's always easy to call, right, when things are going away.
Well, he's in the honeymoon period.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's still learning. He's still being forgiven for a few errors and mistakes and what have you.
But that's also the great thing about if you do have a new in-game leader, because when you're in the honeymoon period for in-game leading, you just want to throw things out there, right?
Sure.
Like you don't necessarily
and your
care
team fully trusts you as well.
Exactly,
that period,
right?
Just, all right, well,
but then once
it sounds dumb, but we're going to go and do it anyway.
Once the struggle starts, right, then you tend to, it's mentality based, right?
Yeah.
So you tend to go back to what worked, and then all of a sudden, maybe you have 10 strats for one map. It just narrows that down. Maybe you just go from having 10 to 3 because they're like, well, that's the only thing that works, and then you forget about the others, whereas like, in reality, well, maybe we just had a bad game. So it is a very slippery slope, and that's why, coaches really come in handy.
Yeah, he's definitely enjoying life right now. I'll tell you 2 other gentlemen that are enjoying life right now. Our commentary team this morning for our first 3 matches, Anders and Semler. Good morning, gents.
Good morning, Paul. What a morning it's been.
Yeah, already?
Yes.
Already. Yeah, and that was just after midnight last night.
Anders was here bright and early, fresh as a daisy. He's pumped up.
I love you too, Moses. I appreciate that. I do. I've heard it's hot over there. I hope you guys are boiling in the analyst
It's
desk.
hot, but I got a feeling today's going to be even hotter in terms of matches. So
that was a good Paul. That
wasn't bad, was it?
You
could
Paul,
say one could say it could be an inferno, Semler.
Oh my!
See, I just get
I
punnier
don't
as
think
the
we
day
can
goes
keep
by.
up. I don't think we can keep up with this now.
That was very well done.
All right,
really
G,
like that.
Transition,
please
please.
take us away to game 1. Save us from certain death.
Yes, indeed. We're going to try and do our best. Appreciate it. Thanks to the panel. We are going to be heading into train, in fact, and it will be a best-of-1 game here. Elimination match, Semler. Can you hard handle it? It's pretty early, so...
I know, man. I know. When I stopped to think that this major has been so competitive that we have Cloud9 and mousesports on the ropes, two teams that have been looking fantastic recently, all of a sudden.
Yes.
One of them's going home after this match. And you're looking at some of the other matches, like Navi, Fnatic, same boat. What is this world?
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a heartbreaking moment, no matter what, really. Cloud9 have really looked good, and they had some tough games in the group stage here. Some of them, it even looked like they could have, sort of made it through and actually done a great job. But today's the day of deciding pretty much everything. We've got 9 games to figure out who's going to be going through and who isn't. And yeah, one of these teams definitely isn't. Even yesterday was mad as hell. That big in SK game. I stayed up to watch that. And it was madness.
What was madness was the celebration from Big at the hotel afterwards. That was something to behold. But I mean, of course, can you blame them? I mean, they talk about an underdog victory, 3-0 in the groups, straight in, become legend teams for the next major. I mean, it's a dream come true for Big. We're talking about guys who just created this team a few months ago and took a huge risk and took all the risk trying to create this roster, putting everything together and everything on the line. And here they are. Dreams come true. It can happen, not just in fairy tales.
Apparently they do. And there's another team as well that we're going to be casting actually the next game, which is Penta, who have also sort of embarked on a crazy story going all the way through all the qualifiers and everything. So in general, there's a lot of cool storylines for this major and a lot of interesting upsets. And we'll see what happens here on Train as well. It's going to be interesting. Skadoodle versus either Chris or Oscar or both. When it comes to the AWP, Train is one of those maps where that can end up deciding quite a lot, I think. So that's one of the battles I'll be looking for sure.
Well, I think we're just going to have to try and not be too depressed, Anders, because we get all 3 of the elimination matches. Navi Fnatic will be the 3rd one of the day. And so, we get to be the undertakers of dreams.
The ones who see at least 3 teams out of the tournament.
It's a hard life. It's a hard life.
Well, especially the second game for me, because the other team that's playing Penta is Flipside. And,
Yeah, and Markelov's, he's on the line there.
Don't want to say goodbye to Markelov. But honestly, Penta is one hell of a team, so you really never know, I feel like. We are going to head into the game here. It's mousesports versus Cloud9 for a best-of-1 elimination match here with the PGL Major. So get all your friends on board, because this is part of Counter-Strike history that you don't want to miss. This major is going to be so incredible. It's already been quite intense in terms of the matches. So many teams that are coming out that are so good. It's very hard to predict exactly what's going to happen. In fact, everyone's pick'ems are already completely done.
Dude, people were posting screenshots yesterday of 3-0 Big, like predicting 3-0 Big. They're taking it off their screen like
photoshopped.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
That's a bet.
Now, already, Oscar's down to 13. He almost got run over by Stewie's Glock. That was over by the brown holes, but he managed to make it back around the corner, and now they've got a fairly default setup. They are pretty drawn back on the map, and we'll see if they can handle this triple push that's coming in from Ivy and the Cloud9 team. They get quite far into the lane. Chris will get one headshot, and he's looking for more. Lowell is there as well, and Dennis, it's a free-for-all in this bomb site, and Cloud9 have no say in it at all. Well, that looked easy.
So clean. Chris J hitting shots, falling back appropriately. Really, Cloud9, they were just hoping that somebody would peek them. That's all they really could get out of that situation is the hope that they would get a man advantage and then could roll onto the site that way. mousesports, though, I mean, we've seen that they are no team to be trifled with. This is the map that they beat FaZe on, and that was definitely part of the upsets, some of the big stories here in the major. FaZe going 0-3 in the groups. Nico losing to the hands of his former teammates.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, the FaZe story, we forgot about that because of the drama that was going on since, but that in itself is so tragic, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be a lot to recover from.
I can say these things because I know that he is definitely not still like awake right now, Nico. We might actually need to check him for a pulse later.
Well, good on him, whatever it takes. I mean, I think this is part of the magic. I actually made a deal with myself quite a while ago because people always ask this in interviews and stuff. They say, okay, well, who's going to make it out of the group stage? And I now just say, I don't make that bet anymore because I always look at the legends and the contenders for the major tournament. And I say, well, this is easy. I know exactly who's going to make it. So, like, I just look at the lineups and I think, well, this is no problem, And I'm always like just completely wrong. Because and that, I think that says something about the success of the major format, is that everyone is so focused that, you know, teams that you sort of, they fly under the radar, you don't see them for a while, your Gambits, your flip sides, and I mean, even to some extent Big and Penta. I mean, I think Big has been showing a lot of promise and Penta has too, but still, you match them against someone like SK, you think there's no way, right?
What's the theme here? The theme is that the teams that are doing remarkably well haven't been on the road for 6 months.
That's absolutely part of it, isn't it? And now you wonder if Astralis little, you know, gamble about not attending Cologne could pay off or not. They took the big gamble,
yeah. Astralis are the ones where we have to see, you know, is it going to pay off or not? But for Big, it certainly has. Penta as well. And so now, well, we have to see what's going to happen here in this next round, because this is a force buy from Cloud9. Still plenty of time left in this round, minute 20, but they are set up to split on A here, Cloud9, and so we'll see if it's actually going to work. Rinse and repeat, Anders, rinse and repeat.
Not a bad bet at the moment, because there's a good chance, I think, that Lowell is going to be smoked out. So Chris might have to do just a lot of work on his own. He's got the UMP on top of the truck there, but on top of the train. But you have to wonder if that's enough here. I feel like Chris is going to be very lonely out in this bomb site. Flashes are in, looking down to try and avoid any further coming in. They're all around him, but no one's actually spotted him yet. That's remarkable. Chris getting a big opening, but Shroud will take him down. Lowell's going to be gone. Next is Automatic with a kill on Robson. It's falling apart. mousesports, they were so back on the bomb side that they just couldn't really help each other out, and that's a big issue. Oscar's going to go down next. Skadoodle with a headshot. That was a Glock as well, leaving Dennis in a 1 versus 3 with the bomb down. The American team striking right back in the next round here, and Dennis trying to see if he can come up with some sort of miraculous 1 versus 3 comeback.
Might be able to pull this off. Automatic is low, but Shroud is the one who's holding close. PG50 in hand, going to get the shots in his back, and Dennis can't turn in time. The headshot clutch and saving an M4 as well for Shroud. But most importantly, everything according to plan here for Cloud9. Getting up close to the Tech-9s, you can see the advantage when you're rotating around that bomb train, when it's close quarters. You can have an M4, but if I hit the headshot with the Tech-9, you're a dead man. And that's exactly how it played out for Cloud9. Young Stu, it's the, I think it's the connectors that he's plugging his earbuds into. Sometimes the sound gets a little spotty for him. So he's just trying not to tilt right now. He's just trying really hard not to tilt, because he was telling me about this yesterday where his right earbud, you know, was like fading in and out on the sound.
All right. Well, I like the expression on Jordan's face, because he just looks like someone's saying, I have no idea what you're saying. I just can't understand it. Well, we'll get that sorted right out, I'm sure, and then we'll be good to go. The PGL admins have, I think, been very much on point with just fixing things really quick. As long as it's within the, you know, their grasp to actually do it.
Yeah, I don't think they can like alter the material of reality or anything, right?
No, there's some limits like that. Listen, so we actually, it's all right, because it means we can at least talk about the previous round. And I am generally an advocate for forward defenses on the A bomb side. You don't have to do it every single time, but I think they give you more room to work with on the CT side. I think when you're drawn back and you're behind the bomb carriage, then you're a little bit at the mercy of what kind of execute the T's do. You know, if they do it without, you know, any smokes, then you've got a really good shot. You can sort of snipe away long distance. If they put down all the smokes, then you have to play around them, and sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. So I think when you're at the forward, they have to use a lot of grenades to force you back, and sometimes you can even just take the fight right away and you're in a good position. So I sort of prefer that. Now, what was weird about that round from mousesports is it was just Chris who was forward, right? And he must have known they were going to have Tech-9s and armor, more or less, right? So with a UMP like that, it's very hard. As soon as any smoke lands behind him, his teammates can't help him, and then he's just up on that train alone, and it's just a bit weird. Like, it felt like there was something missing in that particular defense. Either have 2 or 3 going that aggressive, at least 2, or everyone sort of stay back. And you can do that in a round. Like, you could say that. You could say, listen, we just have all the utility. We're just going to retake the bomb side and defuse. You can get the bomb down. That's fine.
That's what you're really trying to say here, is that, you know, it's either you play for the hard defense and hold up close, or you play for the retake, and you trust in your ability to work together with your superior firepower to take over that site once again and get the defuse. The one thing is, you know, getting caught in the middle a little bit there, mousesports, but Chris J, who's taken over the calling, I feel like he is coming into his own. mousesports have definitely been stepping up as a unit. Individually, Dennis comes to mind. Huge turnaround for him. But then also between Rops and Oscar, I mean, Chris J has got some firepower to work with. Now it's just about making the proper calls and getting used to it. Let's see. It looks like Young Stu has got things figured out now. We should be getting back into this game fairly soon.
Most excellent. Yeah, now, just because you mentioned Robs, I was seeing a lot of people, I think including the god himself, Olofmeister, was praising him on Twitter a couple of days ago, saying it's quite remarkable as someone so young can play at such a high level without really any apparent stress. You just can't see it in his gameplay that he's if he's feeling the pressure. So that's so insane, and it's such that in itself as an individual story is so cool.
Absolutely. I mean, he's like a Lecro, just found online. And that's pretty much the only way now to make your break, unless you've got years of experience like Ella Gabi, et cetera, right, where you can make a comeback. I mean, if you're a young player now, it almost entirely relies on ESEA or FPL playing with some of the pros, and the pros, oh wow, this guy's kind of good. Well, usually they say, oh, this guy's hacking, and then turns out he isn't, and then they're like, oh, how do we get him on a team? So we saw that with Lecro, and now Rops is one of those players who's made his break.
But in terms of sort of the health of the Counter-Strike scene, it's a really good thing. I think if you're a young player out there and you see, oh, there is a path to do it. Like this guy has done it, these guys have done it, and they can go through open qualifiers into minors, into the main qualifier, into the actual major. People do that now, and the path is there. Obviously, requires an enormous amount of dedication and skill, but still, that's so cool. I think that's remarkable.
There's also gamers, but
also,
go and check it out.
I mean, yeah. Why?
I think that in gamers, that was one thing that I really enjoyed. On this topic, is that we found Brolan. The only issue is that Brolan is now, I think he just turned 15. So, but he was like unbelievably good, and you're like, why are you only 14, kid? Because you can't actually play yet in the tournaments. But if you were actually in the tournaments, you could do some serious damage. So it's a matter of just waiting to see what happens with that guy.
But that's good news. It means we'll have talent to come in the future.
Exactly.
3 years from now, it's going to be right there.
Really uplifting for me working on that series.
No, for sure. I mean, whatever it takes, right? And for sure, you have to imagine as well that the future of Counter-Strike will involve probably more talent scouting from teams, So I semi-regularly have people messaging me and saying, like, well, what do you think about this guy? People who work for sort of different teams. Well, scouting out this guy. What do you think about this guy? And stuff like that. So there are people trying to put effort into it to figure out, who's the next up-and-coming player.
Absolutely.
How can we know him? What's your opinion of that person? And I think it's going to increase quite a bit. It makes sense, at least, for people to try and be on the lookout for that. We are just getting almost back into the game, I believe. Can't be much longer. Just a bit of a sound issue for Stewie, and he should have figured that out more or less. So hopefully we'll be underway very soon. It means you guys had a bit of a chance to get a sip of coffee or whatever it is you drink in the morning. Get your friends invited as well. This is an elimination match. You don't want to miss this. It's Cloud9 and mousesports. The scoreline is 1-1. And if you're just joining in the meantime, we got this way by mousesports winning the pistol round almost flawlessly. Then Cloud9 winning it back almost flawlessly with Tech9 rush to the A-bomb site. And now we're here.
And now we're here where Chris J is saving his money. I like it. The rest of his team, they're going for the force, but Chris is trying to guarantee having that AWP in play as quickly as possible here versus Cloud9. Stewie going to open things up at Pop Dog. Dennis tried to go aggressive with that UMP. Not today. Not today, says young Stu. But Lowell is holding close to E-Box, and they are kind of stacked up on this A site right now. mousesports, 3 players waiting here.
Interesting smoke, but shouldn't force too much. Actually, they're going to flash their way into main now. That's a very cool idea. It doesn't work out, but I actually think that's quite fun. That smoke would have made sure that no one from PopDog could have easily helped out with the main push in case they actually won that kill. But yeah, that's maybe worth an investment.
And here is where... No, never mind. I was about to say, here is where Chris J with that UMP managed to get a double headshot on Automatic. Automatic down to 16. That Stewie is going to be there to save the day, and we actually have a perfect anti-eco come through here for Cloud9. A little bit of a grin from young Stu. I guess both of his earbuds are working again, but he's probably pretty happy about the fact that they just aced mousesports. And so now, another round of eco for mousesports. Main thing here is that Chris now, after this next round of eco, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. He will have the money. Hell, Anders, he'll have the money for a Scar 20 or whatever.
Yeah,
I wanted to say Negev, but then I was like, does it still cost 2,000?
I wish someone would buy the Negev. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I think Oscar as well could maybe buy an AWP if you want it. So that could be a bit interesting if they go sort of straight from a couple of ecos right into double AWP. It's always a big risk. I mean, it's going to going to deplete your economy pretty badly, but if you're mousesports, I think it's worth it.
Yes.
Going city side train, why not?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, this is one of the maps for it, where you can make use of that. You get an op on B, an op on A, and then it really gets into that pick game for Cloud9, which can get uncomfortable. But again, pretty much a stack on the A side here for mousesports in this hard eco from them. Well, USPs across the board. And so Cloud9, they just need to take their time with this, not rush it. Pretty sure that young Stu has not spotted the man on upper just yet. Goes dropping down. Big spray from him on Dennis, and he's not going to find the kill. Chris J runs him down.
Well, now at least it creates an opening for the rest of the guys to come out of Ivy, and they should be able to do quite a bit of damage. That's a great headshot coming out with just the pistols here from mousesports. Quite lethal, causing 2 kills already. And Chris is low from earlier, and the bomb will be going down, but that's not a bad job at all for mousesports. Certainly also sending the message to Cloud9 that they're on point with the aim.
Yeah, and the Skadoodle right now, has it been communicated to him that Stewie had that AK and that it's dropped over by main, right? That's the main thing here, because I think mousesports, they need to be hunting for it. At least Lowell, he's going to be in the back line, and he could make his way over there. Skadoodle needs to use this as a piece of bait, but eventually he will find the kills. Are they going to be able to save the gun? It doesn't look like it. Ah, there we go. Skadoodle found it in the end.
So, a bit of a test for Cloud9 there, just to keep their composure and not throw anything away. And it will be straight into the double AWP setup here, so mousesports fans are for certain going to be excited. Skadoodle has one on the other side, so this is the battle that we highlighted early on. Skadoodle at times just has a really high peak, and he's been hitting it a lot lately. So if he can get that, it's going to be interesting. But Oscar on the other side, I feel like has been a terror as well. And honestly, some of his AWP rounds are just completely frightening. So yeah, this is something that I look forward to a lot, and I think you guys should try and watch. If you're watching from the GoTV client, definitely try and keep an eye on these 3 players.
Absolutely. Oscar is explosive. That is one of the keys to victory for mousesports, is him coming up with some of those flashy rounds. Going to be the Molotov in the corner. Perfect. And that's going to put some pressure on automatic. And this is one of the positions that Cloud9 likes to go for in their default setup, is have automatic shroud. You're kind of crouching around in the corners here in A main. So mousesports looking to abuse that. There's the wallbang shot onto Stewie. Chris, you monster.
Stewie's just frozen in the corner. Chris will get the kill though. Flashed in as well. That's some amazing CT aggression. I love this from mousesports. You almost never see this on train, and certainly not to this extent. There were 3 people waiting there for Cloud9. Normally you'd think, well, yeah, come and be aggressive, that's fine. Automatic missing a big chance there to bring it back in his favor. Chris is going to be going down. Nothing. First kill of the game for him, and that's an important one on Chris. Dennis still trying to stay alive, but it is a 2-1-3. They only have 37 seconds left. Oscar now wanting to join the battle. Going to sneak through the smoke and take down Skadoodle. And now automatic. 1 versus 3 with 30 seconds. Going to put out a grenade, and he's not going to fake it. If he wanted to, he had to run for B right away. This is really tough on him. 20 seconds, and he's going to get the kill on Dennis at least.
Yeah, that's really what had to happen. The only issue here is that there are 2 players still alive, Rops and Oscar, and they are very close to this A site. Automatic trying to get clever. Will spot out Oscar on the bomb site. He's got time for this. 7 seconds, and if he can get onto the train, perfect. Now there's the safe plant. He seems to have a good idea where Rops is coming from as well, and so things get interesting here. 1v1, automatic for the clutch. 3 kills so far on him, and Rops has been spotted. Automatic knows how to play this now. Right on the edge, looking for the overstep, looking for the peak, and is he going to react in time to Rops? And Rops right now just trying to play the angles, but sure enough, automatic, he runs out of bullets! Disaster. But this is so well done by him. The kit is not going to be picked up here by Rops. Can he find one in time? They did have the money for it. It doesn't look like it. He just has to get on the defuse, and this is going to be cutting it pretty close.
I think he's just got it. Yeah, he does. Wow, this is absolute madness. Automatic. I mean, that round was so unbelievably intelligent from him. The smoke to cover off on one side, and then that actually baits the peak from the guy playing on the bomb side itself, and he gets that kill. He has the Molotov in pop dog, so Robs can't join the fight. My God, that was brilliant.
What's the big thing here is that mousesports were playing off of basically on beta, on information that they had on Cloud9, right? They've clearly been watching some demos, because that is not the first time we've seen Cloud9 have that kind of setup in A main. And I think Chris was trying to take advantage of that, obviously, with the 3 players from mousesports. But then once you start playing that, you change your game to fit your opponents, then it can get chaotic, like we saw there. How do you close the round? How do you finish the round? And so that definitely got a little nasty there between the 2. But good on mousesports. They keep themselves alive. Cloud9 with a fantastic economy were able to get the full buy once again. So it's not the end of the world here. What's important is that mousesports win this next round. They have a real chance now of getting reset hard.
Stewie looking for the opening. Chris trying to make his model small on the train. Doesn't want to get picked from Pop Dog now. Stewie going to come charging through. Picks up the first one. Lol get one in return, but he should be going down. Two with the FAMAS. They need to get on him quick. They're giving way too much space. Eventually, there's the kill from nothing. And now, 2 versus 3. They have more than a minute, but they're still committing to this plant right away. Rob's going to get the one. Running in on automatic and taking him down. Rob's going for the spray. And it's almost a triple. Now it's a one-on-one. Oscar versus Skadoodle. And Skadoodle picks up the kill. Unbelievably low on health. And you see the little head shake there coming out of Oscar. That's what we want out of the All-American sniper. Cloud9 picking up another round here and shutting down mousesports economy. Man, you thought Robs had just taken that round right then and there.
But this is the quality that we've seen from Skadoodle now. All of a sudden, he is a clutcher. You can put him in these kinds of situations where he is the last man alive, and he can win the round for you. Cloud9, they've gotten better just because of this sort of thing.
It's so ridiculous that Lol gets to pick up that second kill.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did they not communicate the fact that he was standing behind E-Box? Because it looked like Shroud was worried about the bomb train itself.
Well, so Shroud definitely must have known that he was behind E-Box, but he didn't manage to wait for his 3 teammates that were coming out of main, and then Lol would have had nowhere to stand, so I don't know. There was a slight miscommunication there. Scout, Deagle, C-Set 75, 57, P250. They've brought a little bit of everything. Variety. It's the spice of life, isn't it?
So I'm told. So I'm told.
Oscar down on the bomb side, and Robs is close as well with the 5-7, so they've got to be careful. If they don't use any grenades, which people usually do, could get a bit testy. No problem at all for Shroud and Automatic. That's a good way to get into the bomb side. Don't want to be giving up rounds like these due to silly mistakes.
Yeah, nothing getting caught and donating an AK. On the other side of the map is a bit unfortunate for him in that lurk role. You kind of wonder, at this point, just to nitpick, you know, like, do you need the lurker in this sort of situation in anti-eco like this? Or should he be playing so aggressive? Because now they actually have an AK to use, and that can come back to cost Cloud9 in the next round. CT's side, when you have an AK and that one-shot headshot potential, all of a sudden, I mean, close quarters on a bomb train, you can start getting some kills.
Well, that's certainly one part of the issue, but there's a secondary problem to them keeping the AK, which is that it means Dennis could drop an AWP so they can get back to the double orb even quicker later on, you know? Assuming that they get to keep it in future rounds. That's another problem that could sort of come back and haunt them a bit, so got to be worried about that, I would say, if you're on the Cloud9 side.
You know, the goal now is to find out where Dennis is playing, because this is going to be another round of eco here for mousesports. Again, with the 1v1 clutch that Robs had won before, it meant that just one player surviving on mousesports, that they just don't have the economy when they got reset by Cloud9. And so Cloud9 right now, everything is working out for them here. If you allow mousesports to win a round, but then you immediately shut them down, it's just never going to allow mousesports to get a strong economy until it's too late in the half, and you have too many rounds on this T side. 5-2 for Cloud9. And it looks like Robson and Dennis, they are going to play together as a duo. And Skadoodle backs off, nothing there to trade it. Dennis is still alive, however, but he's backing off just in the nick of time here, and it looks like he'll make it out.
Cloud9 had 3 players down at Ivy, 1 with the AWP peeking, secondary player with the AK ready to take over, and a 3rd player throwing a flashbang immediately. He actually had the flashbang primed in hand, so they were more than just a bit ready for that push from mousesports. That's you love to see it out of a team like Cloud9, who have been ridiculed for having just, you know, mostly aim and less thought going into their game. That shows you that that's definitely not true anymore. Lol, now 1 versus 5 here. Smart play from the American side. And this Deagle, it'd still be nice if they could find just a couple of kills with it. That AK is gone already.
Yeah, and I think this is really what Lowell's hoping for. It's like, guys, just go to B. Go to B. Let me pick up the AK. So I can work with that now. He could potentially get up close enough. No, Dennis died right in the middle of it. Unfortunately for him, he's about to die to Skadoodle if he peeks around this corner. Oh, Skadoodle missing the shot. Never mind. Instant with the PG-50. Okay.
Well then, no one goes down from Cloud9. It's a flawless round, and they're incredibly patient, just waiting for 20 seconds, 25 seconds, just hoping for Lowell to show up, which eventually he does. 6-2 for Cloud9.
It's like these anti-ecos have been so good from Cloud9. They get close to the edge of ecoing, and then the reset on mousesports, you know, it's devastating for mousesports economy. But Cloud9 and these anti-ecos are keeping so many players alive that, like, Skadoodle's going into this round fully bought up with 10,000 in the bank.
And this is bad for mousesports, but it's not exactly a great one. And Cloud9 are putting on the pressure, running into the yard. But Dennis with the opening frag, that's great. Lowell has been good in this position, and he's going to drop the sniper on the other side. Shroud, nothing coming back into it with a couple of kills, but now Rops has turned up, and he's still plenty of help on him. 2 versus 3. This looks like a round that mousesports should be able to win. Now they just need to keep it cool here. Make sure they play for refrags.
Yes, give time for Stewie to work. And there you go, exactly. Finds the headshot on Rops, brings it back to a 2-on-2. Stewie has survived with only 5 HP, and so you can be sure that Rops has communicated that over to his teammates. And so Dennis and Chris now, they need to play off the bomb, but with a minute left in this round, and Shroud picking up smokes like they're candy off the ground. That's the second one that he's managed to chuck out here. It looks like Chris is going to get the drop on him, though. Shroud, never going to see this coming. And that pretty much stuffs the round, Chris. Don't shoot your teammate.
Yeah, that should be it. With 5 health and in a 1-on-2. He's got the AK, so can get those headshots in, but it seems unlikely that that's what's going to be the way to do it. Chris is waiting down the ladder, and Stewie sneaking on in. Chris doesn't realize yet. There's the 1 kill at least. The next one is going to be even more difficult. Dennis, he actually has a Molotov. That would cancel the round right now if you threw that. If he goes for the peek, it's just a single bullet that he needs. Stewie walking out, and there's Dennis with the kill. Opening the round and closing it.
Yeah, opening and closing, but talk about a heart attack-inducing moment there for Chris J.
Just want to point this out, because you're seeing a lot of struggle that's coming in here for Oscar. He was, I think, 1-1-8 or something as a scoreline here, and that's a problem, and it stems from the fact that they can't afford to get that AWP right, because their economy has been so just completely smashed in the beginning of this first half that he's had it once, and then every other round has been pistol, and this time he sort of had to fight. You know, this time it's well, they actually did get him this time, but the previous round it was just a FAMAS or something, so they keep having to struggle to get it.
Dennis saved that from Skadoodle's corpse in the last round. That's the thing. So, I mean, it's like if you can win a round and save the op, yes, Oscar is going to be ecstatic. But so far, the pattern has been mousesports winning the pistol, 3 rounds for Cloud9. Mousesports break that, another 3 rounds for Cloud9. And so now's another chance here for Cloud9 to reset the economy on mousesports. It would be a disaster if they managed to pull it off.
Again, great push into main. I love seeing this out of mousesports. Lowell going to get the kill on automatic, but nothing sneaking in. Easy enough kill on the first, and ready to try and see if he could refrag it. Chris is being incredibly aggressive, and what a flick from nothing. Taking down Chris.
Oh boy.
Without the X-ray, you have to wonder how much could he see then?
That's just muscle. That's instinct right there. The mind and the eye of a killer. Unbelievable. You'd think nothing. You'd think Chris has got that in the bag, and then mousesports are going to have the man advantage. Again, punishing Cloud9, punishing automatic for hanging around in A main too much. I love this play from Chris. The reads that he's getting. Now, you just need to hit the shots, but you can't really handle it when nothing's that quick.
They're putting Rops on. I'd go this the other way around. I put Oscar and B alone, and then have Rops and Dennis play on A together close to the bomb site with the rifles, and then use the range. But we'll see how this works out. It seems like right now they have Oscar in a good position. Could get a couple of kills here that could definitely turn the round. And now the grenades are raining in onto the bomb site. Dennis, lonesome for backup right now, because he's the only defense actually on the bomb site at the moment, and he's going to go down to Stewie. Oscar can't see a single thing. He's being very defensive with the AWP. There's 1 kill at least, taking down nothing, but now the rest of Cloud9 could just hide. They don't have to show themselves at all.
Exactly. They have the data on where Oscar's playing from. It's a matter of waiting for Rops. Shroud is covering Pop Dog, and Skadoodle will be watching A main, and it's just on Stewie to mine the bomb. So there should be no chance here for mousesports to move in. They should be saving, basically. Oscar's already backing off. For some reason, Rops is trying to get in here for exits when really he should just be trying to save a gun at all costs.
Yeah, but he really wants to trade that for a better gun, so maybe he can.
This might work out.
AK coming around the corner. Well, what? There's one of them, and could be a second one as well. Skadoodle trying to make the run. No way he's going to go up with a bomb, and at least there will be the AWP, so optimal really play from Robs. That's not bad at all. You see, he thought that Stewie was dead in the first burst there. That's so dangerous. But that gives them the double AWP capability. At least it does that. Oh, Oh, man. You see the difference in AWPing from Chris and Oscar, right? Chris has been quite forward in the A yard, and Oscar's very defensive, and it leaves him open to just getting smoked out.
Yeah, exactly right. He's worrying about alley. He's worrying about the back line. And that positioning, I mean, you got to have somebody minding it. I just really appreciate Cloud9's use of the nade advantage in that round, where mousesports, it's just they have guns, and that's pretty much it. Cloud9 had a whole lot of utility left to work with, and they used nearly all of it getting onto the site. And so that's some good mindfulness coming in from Cloud9. I was a little worried that they would get excited and just run out there looking for duels without actually making use of their nades.
Oh, listen. They've already put up the wall of smokes. Now they're running down Ivy. 2 people are holding there as well. Automatic will be going down. Cloud9 have a full setup, and they're on the bomb site, ready to put the bomb down. Nice jump up to make sure he can't get shot in the feet. Stewie goes down. 2 opening frags going in favor of mousesports. Kadul missing the shot, and Lowell will capitalize on that immediately. Now it's looking very bad for Cloud9. Chris is going to get the kill, and Nothing, who was going to be the linchpin, sneaking in here in the retake. He only gets the 1 kill. Mousesports just shutting it all down, and that was so brilliant. The wall of smoke is up. Cloud9, they're right in front of it, ready to put the bomb down, and then Lowell gets in, flanks the whole push, and kills a couple of people with the UMP. That's all he needed to do. Great individual play from Lowell.
Right now, if you're the coach for Cloud9, oh, tell me this is Cloud9 calling for the timeout. Is this Cloud9 calling for the timeout? It had better be Cloud9 calling for the timeout, because if it is, that's sick. Perfect. It is. It is. Dude, you throw away 2 rounds like that because I think you're just getting a little bit too excited with the exits at A main on ROPS and with this kind of, these kinds of oversights here, letting mousesports infiltrate through the smokes and stuff like that. I think you're starting to get a little bit, too much. And the tactical timeout called by Cloud9, perfect call. Just slow it down, breathe a little bit, guys. You guys are still way in the lead. Very well done. I appreciate that a lot.
Let's see what's going to happen after the timeout. They've had a lot of A executes and very few B executes, so it's impossible to tell whether that will be the switch, because they could also just be thinking to themselves, well, it's kind of obvious that we'll go B if we do it right after the timeout. So there is an immediate double stack on B, which you don't always see. Sometimes it'll just be 1 and then 4 on A in the first 15 seconds, but mousesports certainly thinking maybe that could be it. So Oscar and Robs are going to be in position in case anything happens. Oscar first there with the AWP, and then Robs is the backup if they try to rush him down.
Ooh, perfect. And he goes for the jiggle peek as well. Very well done there by Stewie. He barely dodges that shot. Oscar's going to be just a little bit frustrated about that, but then again, he didn't die. That's the important bit. There's still a good nade count here on mousesports, and both players remain alive on the B site to take these shots when Cloud9 decide to push, if they are going to commit here, but it does look like it. I mean, 4 players getting ready in brown halls, and Nothing currently lurking on the other side of things.
Oscar is he's sort of going to get smoked off on the catwalk up there, but can he catch the midair as they jump down through the smoke? That's the interesting question here. And Oscar, honestly, I'd put my money on him. He's really fast with the AWP. There's the smoke to block him off. He should know that they're going to be coming through any second now. That's the big question, if he's going to be ready for it. All of Cloud9 have their grenades primed. They're now 40 seconds on the clock here. The Molotov going to start to rain in. Actually, great counter smoke from Oscar. That's interesting.
Yeah, but this is giving it away that there's got to be somebody on high right now between the Molotov and the smoke. Skadoodle's going to be able to trade it, and Oscar missing shots that he had a golden opportunity there to turn this into a 3-on-3. And now, Cloud9 have got the man advantage going into the holds. You're retaking with 2 AWPs. Cloud9, they know that they just don't need a peek at this point. And they still have Nothing looking for the flank. Nice HE, though, from Dennis. Dead on. Skadoodle is gone. And Nothing rotating around, but Shroud's got the high ground. What can he do with this?
Automatic with 1. He's going to get sprayed down. Oscar finally hitting a shot, and Dennis to come in with the kill, taking down Nothing. There was this one very unfortunate turn of events there for Cloud9. Automatic that went down first in that retake. He had the Molotov. If he had been on the high ground, there was no smoke left on mousesports. Could have turned the round. It's one of those, it's very hard to plan for. A lot of chaos, obviously. I thought Oscar had given that round away. We were sort of outlining it. He must have known that they were going to come sort of flying through the smoke eventually. And he still missed the shot, and then he even missed the shot on the guy on the floor of the bomb site. So he should have been probably ready for that. And it works out anyway for mousesports, so it can't be too critical, but that's a scary moment.
It's the second shot that's critical. You know, the first one, anybody can miss that, right? Mid-air,
Yeah, but I actually
quickly
think,
moving target.
I actually think now, I would say as an AWP, as soon as you see that smoke, you should be ready to take it. Like,
Oh yeah, no doubt. But you
it's-
can still. There's like a higher probability of missing that shot than the follow up on the guy on the ground.
Yeah,
right?
maybe, but I think I would classify that as like within the realm of not that hard shots to hit, because they are just sort of falling out of. They can't do anything to like. There's not enough air control in the game for them to change their direction that much, right?
Sure.
Like I think I would put Oscar as someone that could definitely hit that shot almost all the time. So I feel like he's having a sort of a shaky start to this game.
Yeah, he's having an off game for sure.
Seems like it's early in the morning. A lot of players actually don't like morning games, so maybe he's one of them. Chris, on the other hand, has been looking a bit more flashy. Lowell as well been doing a great job. Chris will be going down, but doesn't really help out all that much. Lowell with the triple kill, and Shroud with the deagle. We know how dangerous he can be, so just don't go down to this one. Robs will be able to take the round. That makes it 6-7. And everything is looking just a lot better for mousesports all of a sudden. Very good job on them. Lowell and Dennis leading the charge for mousesports. That's kind of cool.
I mean, 3 rounds in a row now for mousesports. So far, this is the most success they've had in this first half. Now it's a question of closing it out and obtaining the remaining 2. If they can come out ahead 8-7 against Cloud9, things could get interesting when they move into that T side. But right now there is a lot of pressure on mousesports. There's a lot of, and that could explain, you know, Oscar maybe being a little shaken by the fact that he is missing these shots. It kind of aggravates the issue, makes it more difficult to hit the next one. I like this clever stuff here from mousesports. And it's going to be the aggressive setup, and that might be close enough to hear it for nothing. He is holding right around that corner. There's the flash, looking for the shot. Chris going to be able to make it out of here, and it's the bait and switch automatic. Never expecting the boost there. Perfectly done from mousesports. What clever play.
And they ran the exact same setup 2 rounds ago, where the only thing that was that no one from Cloud9 showed up in time. But this time worked perfectly. Robs with a headshot to take down Stewie. So good little trick from mousesports to open up the round perfectly. Now we have a real game on our hands.
Yeah, now it's going to get fun. Just scrappy, Anders. I mean, that's kind of where it's at right now these days. More rounds on T-side than you expect to see normally on some of these maps. I mean, Train, usually a CT-sided map. But,
yeah, usually there's a bit of an asterisk there because we've seen some ridiculous scoreline. Again, just like on every other map now, it really seems to all come down to whether or not you can maintain the economy. We saw from mousesports in the beginning, they had 1 round they invested into double AWP, then they lost afterwards, and it just took them like 3 rounds to even recover from that. And then that's why Cloud9 are up as high as they are. Now mousesports have the money back, they have everything they want. Cloud9 are struggling a bit more. What is Skadoodle just waiting the round out, I guess? Yeah, why not?
Skadoodle has the money to go for a smoke and a flash the next round, so they'll have a full set of nades on him. But Shroud, unfortunately for him, save the double flash and smoke. You actually have some utility. 2 guns, some utility to work with in the next round here for Cloud9 if these guys survive. And it doesn't look like mousesports are going to get out hunting too aggressively here as the clock ticks down. Quite a bit of discipline on mousesports, in fact, just sitting and waiting. Gentleman's agreement. Right. This round is over. We will fight again.
We all know what happens with gentlemen's agreement somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you know, not everybody... Oh, I'll just leave it at that.
7-7, and moving into the 15th round. Let's see what happens. I do anyway think that the definition of a gentleman is someone who never insults someone unintentionally. So I guess if you use the bug intentionally, it's all right. It's a fair game. Shroud moving into Pop Dog and trying to see if he can get a bit of spray in. That smoke is pretty much going to cancel any kind of aggression from him for the next 15 seconds. And yeah, nothing flashy coming out from mousesports in this round. I do still like the forward set. I'm a big fan of the fact that they've pushed up all the way to E-box. Again, Lowell has been playing this position just almost perfectly every round. So yeah, I actually think Lowell should get a lot of credit in this first half. He's one of the maybe the main reason why mousesports are in this position.
Absolutely, he's been terrifying at E-box. But the setups have worked out very nicely for him both. Chris is there to cover him now as he watches a main, and Dennis just a little worried about alley. Minute left in this round though, and so Cloud9 now, they've got that alley. Nothing right now is working on the alley control. He's about to get it. Young Stu and Skadoodle working as a pair to set up the smokes. And Shroud and automatic, that bomb. this could actually wind up to be pretty painful here for Cloud9 if Shroud actually takes that bomb down Pop Dog.
Yeah, you want to be very careful. I don't think he's going to be doing that alone. At least there should be automatic following him. Triple push is exactly what you want to cancel out this kind of strat from mousesports, though. This setup is very weak to the triple Ivy push because only Dennis is covering Ivy. Now you can see mousesports starting to scatter a little bit. This is quite the call from Cloud9 here in the 15th round, but Oscar will take down nothing. And if he could get put into play, it'd be interesting. Stewie sneaking through the smoke. He actually hits the headshot, but it isn't enough. And Oscar getting a second kill on automatic as well. The bomb, yeah, it's going down, but Robs is there to cancel it out. In fact, Dennis with the Molotov and Skadoodle, nothing that he could do here. So, good idea for Cloud9, but mousesports getting too many entries for them to really do anything at the end of it. Triple kill for Oscar. That's good news as well, at least if you're a mousesports fan. Half will finish 8-7 in favor of mousesports, so it's anybody's game right now.
This is really fun. This is where I wish that we could still draw in the maps, though. You know what I mean? Because it's just like you're thinking, oh, it's going to wind up on A, but they're intentionally smoking off back line Cloud9 to go for a crunch through CT spawn.
Yeah.
Problem is, Oscar was there with the AWP, right? And so, you know, they're like, oh, yeah, we're not running into Dennis. This is perfect. Oh, wait, Oscar's actually hitting his shots, and now we're screwed. So 8-7. And mousesports, well, mousesports, they managed to actually show some true grit here and work their way back into that round. It is not a disaster. And with a pistol round win here for mousesports, they can be well on their way to keeping themselves alive here in the major. Just to point out, this is an elimination match.
Yes.
We will have all three. We will have three, at least, elimination matches this morning. This is the day where there are going to be quite a few of them. But the three matches that we have coming up, 1-2, all the teams. And so it's going to be a bit painful, a bit of a painful morning.
Heartbreaking. Chris at the Molotov, I'm sure you will have all noticed. Skadoodle has a smoke on the other side for the defuse, so we'll see how this turns out. Oh, Molotov is going to go deep instead, so not for the afterplant. Dennis with a headshot in taking down Stewie, and now Cloud9 want to go for the retake quick as well. USPs are out. Skadoodle with a headshot on one. The bomb has been planted. Shroud with a nice click to take down Oscar. Great grenade to drop Skadoodle, and now we're back in a 3-on-3. Sneaking around in the back line is Dennis, and that might just have done it.
This can make all the difference because they don't have a kit picked up. Automatic is very low on HP, so he can't really make too many plays. It's on Shroud here to find this kill, and he will recover the kit. Now it's a matter of him hoofing it to get onto that site as quickly as possible. Chris on the bomb train, but Rops with the high ground. Shroud, you need to find some headshots right now, and it's not going to happen. Rops! Did I hear headshots?
He was ready to deliver. An automatic running away and saving the armor and the rest of his health. What a good round for mousesports. We talk about this all the time. The importance of not just getting the bomb down, but pushing the CTs as they're trying to get into the retake. So it's very well done. The Molotov was there to sort of force them back, and then that gave enough space for Dennis to run all the way up. And as soon as he got that kill, that was sort of close to the entrance. It's pretty much all over. Double scout though on Cloud9.
Yeah, double scout. Young Stu, we'll have to see if he's going to be able to shake things off after that round. Missed a few opportunities to pick up frags that he just did not connect with. Whereas mousesports, they're looking pretty good here in this round. They're out to make some money, Anders. 4 SMGs, a single AK picked up on Dennis, and they're trying to run Shroud down, take advantage of the fact that this man has only got a scout. He's got no Kevlar either. Oscar finds one, and yeah, it's just a bloodbath. Automatic somehow finds a kill on Chris, but that's as good as it's going to get. Although Stewie, rotating in, manages to find a frag of his own.
He's been locked in as well. There was a definite chance here, but just very hard to land those shots when you're getting run over by 4 people. So 2 body shots for the scouts and a couple of kills. Not what Cloud9 were hoping. I think Cloud9 was hoping that this should be a slow round for mousesports where they, you know, set up and sort of, you know, try and take slow duels, because then those scouts can really do a lot of damage. But quick execute from mousesports, no trouble at all. 10-7 in their favor. And Cloud9 have to eco a couple. It's so painful you have to do this. You know they're going to get up to 12. You know, can't really do anything about it.
Yep, you're not going to have any room for error. And will you have got the information, the data on mousesports the way that mousesports had on you and your T side?
Ouch.
Yeah, that was a painful one.
There's a lot of grenade damage in C connector. Shroud now. Hoping for a lucky headshot when someone overlooks him. Oh. Look, someone just flying through and he can stab him. Does have a little cheeky smile, doesn't he? Rops is there. Shroud charging on it. No, it's not going to happen. credit for style, credit for creativity. I think we can give him that.
Yeah, for trying. I mean, you got to have fun like that in these sorts of situations, right? You know, if you're just thinking, oh my God, our tournament life is on the line and we are behind, mousesports are running away with, like, if you have that in your head and you're not just allowing for a little bit of fun here and there.
Shroud's thinking, my stream viewers will love this.
Hi, Reddit. Yeah.
11-7 as the scoreline, and, well, Cloud9 will be able to go for the bye. I think you said 12 rounds. I'm at 11 for mousesports. And, flash right through Chris. This is very aggressive, and it's going to work with the UMP charging down one. The second kill might have made the round immediately, but Skadoodle going to put an end to the madness for the moment. Stewie with a shot and nothing as well, taking down the kill on Dennis. That grenade gets bugged a bit on the train. That's unfortunate, but Stewie going to lose his life afterwards. 3 versus 2. Calm down, Cloud9. The bomb is only just going to be planted now. You have time for this retake. Don't let Robs with 100 health steal this away from you.
Exactly. Now Robs has moved up. Perfect Molotov to buy even more time. And Oscar's got the back line with that AWP, so he will be watching, but he's a little bit worried about the flank coming in from A site. From the Brown Halls, that's not where the action's going to be. Nothing. Assassinates Robs immediately. And it's a 1v3 now. Oscar, if ever there was a time for you to hit some shots, it is now. They don't have any HEs or Molotovs to get rid of you with, but it's going to be point blank, and he misses it. Cloud9 with the retake, and the hope springs anew here for the North American team. You're right, though, Chris. If he gets that second kill on A, I think that we're looking at a totally different situation.
Yeah, that's going to be almost impossible, especially because they would have made a heavy rotation towards the A-bomb side, and then it would have been a B-take anyway. So that's quite a nice round there. The classic smoke down the middle of the bomb site, the flash your way through. Everyone loves it.
The vintage.
11-8 though. AWP stolen from the corpse of Oscar. Now it's on Skadoodle instead. And Oscar's had to rebuy his. This is turning into a bit of a scary game. Again, Chris fast into the yard, this time with the Molotov all the way down back. Jumping his way through. Nothing going to win that fight against Robs, and that's a problem. They needed that angle of the attack. Now they have to fight at so many different fronts. The guys coming out of main, it's all crumbling right now for mousesports. They needed to be quicker, and they needed to win the first fight. Chris goes down, Oscar is next, and Shroud to close out the round. Automatic with a triple. Like, as soon as nothing wins that fight, you see the guys coming out of main and through the smoke, they're like, oh, there's too many angles here.
Yeah, now our flank is open to a part that shouldn't be, and looks like we will have a timeout called here by mousesports. I like it. Good timing for them as well before things get out of hand. Take a bit of a breather. You still have the money to buy if you really force. But with this lead sort of situation for mousesports, it could be better to just go for the half buy. I think Tech9 Kevlar, go for an explosive round and then have a full buy on the next one. But Cloud9, in these chaotic situations, they just thrive. You can see, I mean, Oscar, Lowell, you know, just getting dinked up from every direction, not knowing where to go, and then you just get whittled down. It's going to be a feel-good round for Cloud9 there, showing that they've still got some fight in them. Oh, Chris. Okay, this will be interesting when we get back into it. It looks like it's Chris just going to be taking the hit.
Yeah, I think you could have argued that they should have gone for Tech9 armor in this round, and then, you know, tried to make that work.
I think that's exactly what they should have done. But I guess the pressure here is that they might be looking, okay, we have enough for this strat, and we can't let Cloud9 get too far ahead economically, right? We need to keep some pressure up on that CT eco, otherwise they can start getting the lockdown going.
We'll see if it's going to pay off or not. Skadoodle wanted to challenge the fire. That is a legitimate strategy. You can sit in it for, you know, a good 2 seconds and then hope that someone just peeks it and forgets that someone could still be there, but it's obviously very risky. There's Shroud, who's been not having the best game of his life just yet, but now he seems to be waking up a little bit more. Dennis will take him down in return, though. A bit of a shame, and leaves it in a 4-on-4.
Getting a bit antsy. That puts pressure on Nothing. I think that Nothing was starting to peel back a little bit from that pop dog play. Instead, now he has to stick around and he has to make a difference here.
I like this. This is what I wanted them to do earlier when they had Oscar on the CT side. They're leaving Skadoodle alone in B with the AWP and saying, you handle that, and we'll handle everything else. I think this is a very good split from Cloud. It's a bit of a risk, but I quite like it. I would say, yeah, trust in Skadoodle to hit the first shot. That's all he has to do.
Yeah.
They can't be, just get the first kill, and then you're done.
Nothing starting to peel back. This is off of Stewie. Stewie has pushed so far in. Are they actually going to check for this flank or not? This is where things can go south so quickly for mousesports. Stewie, the nades are going in towards A as well. He's thinking about pulling the knife out to go a little bit faster, but he's worried about them walking back into his crosshair.
Oh man, timing's everything. Dennis actually just turned around to look, so Dennis is slightly aware that something could be up. Is he going to be there in time? Automatic will get a bullet by Chris, and now he's got the opening. Stewie gets one, turning around for the second kill, dropping Robs as well. Big play coming out from Stewie here, and now it's a 2-on-3. This is the round for Cloud9. If they win it, they're going to break mousesports' economy, and suddenly they'll be in the lead. Nothing sneaking in from Ivy as well, and Skadoodle going to get the shot here on Chris. Finally, the kill comes in from Stewie, in fact, who's still sniping away from main, and nothing to take down Lowell. My God, what a great individual round from Stewie.
And what I mean, communicating the entire way through. Once the nades start coming through, you see the rotation come over from the B site. Cloud9 are ready for it. And then mousesports, you're caught in the triangle of doom at that point. You have no safe place. You can see Chris desperate, just looking, where can I go to actually try and hold this bomb? Except that Cloud9 had all of the points covered. And now we have another timeout, it looks like, getting called here. And it's probably from mousesports, again, trying to figure it out. What can you do here? Because the force, the gamble, it didn't pay off. We didn't do enough damage. They survived with 3 players. And so the economy isn't going to take that huge a hit on Cloud9's side.
Also worth pointing out, in that 1v3 for Lowell when he's in Pop Dog, because the bomb is not planted on the side of the train, but sort of, you know, in the default plant spot instead, he has to peek out so wide out of Pop Dog. When 3 people waiting for him, like he has to over-peek that angle. You see it here on the replay on the minimap, but the bomb is sort of planted quite far in towards the wall. So Lowell have had to really overpeak that angle to have any chance of defuse, of sort of stopping the defuse. Pretty hard on him.
There we go, some hype. Some hype from Cloud9.
10-11.
Right, here is the play. Here's the play, the half nine. Hey, there we go. It's the half 9 buy.
I like it.
Half buy with Tech 9s and Kevlar. And the nades as well. So let's see. But Mouse are playing this like a default round, it looks like. Spread, looking and waiting. Oscar, long range on Ivy, trying to set it up for the bait for Dennis. Absolutely no reason for Cloud9 to go aggressive in this round, however. They've got the aggressive hold with nothing in Pop Dog and automatic there to back them up. But to push...
There could be like a cascade of disasters here, because they have a flashbang for nothing, and the next in line is automatic, but if they come 2 out of Pop Dog and 1 out of the main for automatic, he's probably going to fall. So there's like a series of events here that could lead to a disaster for Cloud9 if they can get the first flashbang right. Robs is the one holding it, so we'll see. It depends on whether or not nothing gets flashed, I think. That's maybe the whole round just hinges on that moment.
There is a very nice flash that can be used from Brown Halls as well. Right on top of him. 45 seconds, though. We're starting to get there here, Anders. I mean, they've got the smokes cocked and ready.
Yeah, you could see it in the far left corner if he primes it or not, so you don't even have to be spectating him. You see the grenade light up as soon as it happens. You know that something is going to be coming in. Waiting for it, 35 seconds. Oh, he's going to use this one instead, so trying for the other angle, and that means nothing won't be flashed, and he's going to open up with the first kill as he realized that Robs is going to be there as well. There's the kill at least, an automatic. He gets 2 in return, a third one just before he goes down. Well, okay then. Robs down to half health from the grenade, and Skadoodle will get the kill. Man, I swear, if they had used the default flash for Pop Dog instead, and nothing goes down, can you imagine automatic trying to hold, what, 3 from main and 2 from Pop Dog with one M4? That won't work.
No, but who was it first down? Was it Dennis first down the ladder who got caught? Like that's just the ladders. Sometimes they're just out to get you. It's like they're demons that won't let you let go.
Yeah.
Please, I'm getting shot. I just need to like get off the ladder.
It's no fun at all.
No fun, exactly. No bomb plant, but still a pretty good buy here from mousesports. All the necessities. Oscar with that AWP as well, and so we'll see. Wow.
Flashbang in, but somehow Robs still goes down. It looked like that was pretty much perfectly set up.
Cloud9 and mousesports both are playing very well right now. Cloud9 with the appropriate calls, the appropriate read on the situation, going aggressive. Haven't really gone for Brown Hall's aggression either so far in this half, so there we go. Shifting things up, and mousesports, fortunately for them, it does not work out, and the pressure continues to mount.
This is so scary right now.
Oh, can Lowell get the timing on Stewie, though? Because there's a chance for him to just go for the peak.
He's waiting right now. Probably wants a distraction from somewhere else, especially if he hears Stewie sort of running back to rotate. Then that position becomes pretty powerful. It's amazing that he's been allowed to stay here for so long. Now it looks like Skadoodle is rotating into positions. Oh, Lol is falling back just at the same time. It's unbelievable. Dennis can open up the round, taking down Shroud. We're down to 37 seconds, and Chris with a headshot on nothing. Gonna go back and pick up the bomb. They know mousesports. This is the big round for them. The score is tied at 11-11, and if you get to 16, you get to knock the other team out. That's the big thing here. Stay alive in the tournament. Send the other team packing. Automatic at the high ground advantage. Can he stop the bomb from being put down? Stewie pushing out quite aggressively and winning the fight against Dennis. Going for the one on Chris, and he takes him down. Stewie not able to get the headshot. Oscar instead cancelling him out. 2-on-2 for the retake.
Automatic is going to be backed up by Skadoodle very quickly here. A couple of nades on Automatic to work with as well. But it's a matter of figuring out where Oscar is playing from, because he's got his teammate watching Pop Dog behind him. Scott can't miss this shot. There's the tap. Lowell going to go for the peek. Automatic gets the headshot, and now it's all on Oscar, and they know exactly where he's coming from as well. This is a situation that should be impossible. The jiggle peek to bait it, and he misses the shot. Automatic, the hero, will come through. Triple kill for him, and Young Stu with 2. Unbelievable the fact that these individual plays keep happening here for Cloud9. Stewie and Automatic just never say die.
And you have to just appreciate the 4D chess that we're playing here as well. Oscar saying, that's all good, but I'm not going to go for the fight against Skadoodle because he missed the shot. I will shut down the guy defusing. And Automatic reads that and says, well, that's fine, but I'm off the defuse and shooting you in the head instead. So, one step ahead all the time. That's the name of the game here. Look at this. As soon as Skadoodle misses the shot, Automatic just says, that's fine. I'm ready for it.
So quick.
My God.
So quick, but
23 kills on Automatic, ladies and gentlemen. 12-11, Cloud9. A big step in the right direction for them. The only thing is mousesports have a loss bonus that's really building, so whenever they get the bomb plant, they're going to keep buying.
Exactly right, exactly right. They won't have those AWPs, but they will have the AKs with nades. And mousesports as well right now. I mean, Cloud9 are once again back in the lead. 12-11 for Cloud9 on CT side. And it's up to mousesports to figure something out. At least this time around, they haven't lost anybody very early on here, mousesports. Rops has got that Brown Hall's control. And Oscar over at Alley. And so they have all the necessities here, mousesports. They have everything that they need at this point. It's about making the call now. Which site will you commit to?
A very common gamble being put up here, leaving just one MP. C-Connector, I suppose, Skadoodle is lingering around, but more emphasis on the A-bomb side. Nothing out of the ordinary, really. Could be interesting to see if Oscar can best Shroud, I believe, who's playing right in front of him. He's certainly crouched in and feels like he's sort of lightly ready for it. Down to 37 seconds. Going to walk right in and takes the fight, but Oscar's going to fail to get the kill. That might be a big, good shot from Chris. Automatic again. He does it. Down by Pop Dog. He's such a beast. Will get taken out by Dennis, but now can Skadoodle stop the plant from going down? It's pretty much right in front of him. He's going to be up on the train with a C-set. 75 at Lowell there with a great coverage.
And now it's on Young Stewie. 1v2 to clutch. And again, all of these angles, he needs to find Dennis immediately. Does he check right? Does he look that hard? No, Dennis walks right into it. Gives it away. Now we're into a 1v1, and there's still plenty of time here for Young Stu. He's got the smoke. He's got the HE as well. All he needs here. Now it's just a matter of Lowell hitting the timing. He's going to come in right behind him, and Stewie looks like he's going to be sticking this. This is getting fun. It goes down like this. Stewie with the man defuse in the smoke. And Lowell, both Lowell and Oscar, they need a hug. Both of them had chances there.
Yeah, they need more than a hug, Samuel. They need fentanyl or something. This is unbelievable. 13-11. How the hell does that happen? I mean, at some point, someone has to get the replay without the X-ray to see, was there like a heel showing? Because he was so near the edge of that smoke. I cannot believe what just happened. This is an elimination match. mousesports could be exiting the tournament based on that 1v1. 13-11. Holy hell.
I know, it's so good. It's so close either way. Coming down to clutch after clutch, and Automatic, I mean, between Automatic and Stu, this is unbelievable. Just sticks it and just immediately starts spraying as well. What was the meme? Pros don't fake.
The thing is, he actually played that so well. He really faked out Stewie by just moving slowly up the train. You could see Stewie's attention was all on what was happening down there. He had no idea, and it still works. My God.
But Tim is just indomitable. 25 frags for him. It's like every round right now he is just picking up a double. So the value is through the roof, but again, spread out across the map. Oscar, once again, is going to be in a duel with Shroud over here at Alley. The nades are going in right now to buy a little bit more time, but there's still plenty here on the clock for mousesports. It's time to take a deep breath, mousesports. Recenter and get going.
This is absolute madness. We're not at the end yet. Cloud9 have the economic lead. They can still buy even if they lose this round. It won't be a beautiful buy, but it will be one at least. Chris has been great at opening, and another headshot. Again, nothing every single time. But Shroud lives the first barrage, and he's going to get the revenge. Automatic only with 1 kill in the round. That's rare. And Stewie almost getting caught. Skadoodle there to save him, and Stewie with a follow-up. Skadoodle again to close out that kill. And now it's Oscar in a one-on-one versus Skadoodle, who's been looking really good. And the time is working so heavily against Oscar right now. This is unbelievable.
And the timing, if he's a second or earlier there, he catches it, but instead it's going to be Skadoodle with the clutch again. They can't seem to get just a little bit of luck to go their way here, mousesports. What I'm saying is he's 1 second too late on the peak there, Oscar, at the back line. He catches Skadoodle looking towards Alley instead, and there you go, there's the round. Instead, it's Skadoodle who walks right into him with the op. And so they just can't seem to catch a break here, mousesports. Cloud9, 2 rounds away from going 2-2 in this tournament and sending mousesports packing.
Nothing getting fired up, getting momentarily pulled out of his Sen-like state. Chris again charging the yard and again taking down Nothing. It's a personal battle between these two now. Automatic with a refrag, taking down Chris, and now they know there's no one else here. They've realized something is wrong, and they've realized that soon enough to be able to stop mousesports from getting into the bomb site. Scott free, great spray coming through. Stewie knocking out the bomb, taking out Robs and Oscar and spraying again. All the bullets for the moment, and he's going to be going down as well. Dennis getting a kill, and Lowell with the shot on automatic. So now it's a 2-on-2. The action is back. This never will stop. Lowell finally going down to Shroud and Dennis. Can any clutches go in the favor of mousesports in this second half? That's the big question. We're going to find out the answer right now.
With the 1v2, and Dennis on the train, spots out the one, and he's down to 4 HP, but he wins the duel, only to die to Skadoodle afterwards. Skadoodle not going to miss that shot, and taking his time with it as well, going for the pistol, knowing that he was lit. Match point for Cloud9, and just a wall of blue. Mousesports win the pistol in the second half. They get their 3 rounds, but then it just stops there. Cloud9 have taken every round since.
8 in a row, I believe. This is absolute madness, isn't it?
The pressure is on right now for mousesports.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Especially because, oh man, Dennis not excited. They're 1 round away from being knocked out of the major in the group stage.
In the group stage, no legend status. You have to go through the minors and the qualifiers all over again next time, and nobody wants to do that. Big reason why Big were celebrating so hard yesterday. That legendary status is so important for the teams.
We said this would be a heartbreaking day. It's early in the morning here in Krakow, and the heartbreak starts right away. There's no slowing it down, and it's going to be more or less like this all day. All of the games are going to be this tense, and there are some cracking games coming up later as well. So definitely got to stay tuned. Dennis, forget about that last round. All you can think now is 4 rounds in a row. Get the opening kill. They've snuck in so deep. Shroud, though, at a very strange off angle. Almost never will you see anyone holding this position, so unlikely the mousesports are going to be flashing for it. Dennis goes down. Chris is next, dropping the bomb. Shroud finally gets taken care of, but he may have done enough, and automatic is there for the follow-up, taking down Oscar. An absolute disaster. The rest are miles away. They wanted to go for the 3-2 crunch to the B-bomb side. Leg shot for Skadoodle. Another couple of kills, and it will be done. Skadoodle gets 1, and Robs is on 6 health. Oh my god. one man to keep mousesports alive in the major tournament. And he's got almost no time, no health, almost no chance at all. Everything is on his shoulders. He's going to get the first shot at least and taking a bit of damage onto Skadoodle. I don't think he has the time for it. 17 seconds, the smoke is up, and he's going to go down to automatic. 16-11 as Cloud9 knock mousesports out of the tournament, make their score 2-2 in the group here. They need to continue. They've got one more game to play. They're not through yet, but mousesports, for them, the journey ends here.
Heartbreak for both of these teams if they go out at this stage. Both of them have improved significantly coming into this tournament. Cloud9 making a finals on a main stage stadium event just a week ago, and yet it will be them who prevail, and mousesports, more work, back to the drawing board. And yeah, you can tell Rops may not feel the pressure, but you can see the frustration.
Yeah, it's got to be a moment where time stands still for you when that happens. You can't. It's going to take a while before it really sinks in. I would bet a lot of money that is not the last time we're going to see Robs at a major tournament. Such an incredibly talented player, and
this mousesports roster.
Yeah, they have looked so good.
That's how competitive it is now. They've been looking great, and yet they are going home. But there's definitely, I mean, it's like, don't be discouraged if you're mousesports. You guys right now are on point, looking very good. You can see the frustration from Chris as well. You know, just the hitting the desk. Dennis as well. Those are the emotions you want to see. But we're going to have another 2 games where we're going to be seeing more of them like that. It's painful to cast these games, Anders, because it's just, you know what's on the line for both of these teams.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you know, I think this is like the best mixture of Counter-Strike. Like, so much pressure, all these great teams, and then the emotion that's caught up into it as well. It's fantastic. And mousesports is one of those, they've put so much hard work in, you know, so you instinctively want them to move on, and there's not going to be this time, unfortunately. We do have the panel ready, and I look forward to hearing what they say. Obviously, an absolute cracking game. Paul, were you guys entertained as well?
Entertained for sure, but hard luck for Mouse, of course, as they bow out of the PGL Major in Krakow. Cloud9 live to fight another day, or rather live to fight again today, because they will be into the 2-2 matches and a final shot at the quarterfinals. Back with Moses and Fifth Laren at the desk. Moses, a satisfactory win for North America there?
Yeah, not enough though. Still got to qualify, right? Still got one more game ahead of you. But definitely, this was a very cool matchup, especially because they faced some adversity in that first half. Like up 6-2, everything was looking great, and mousesports does a phenomenal job. There's that bounce back round where either they have a double op and 3 UMPs. The double ops do great. I think they get like 3 kills, and it's free upgrades for 2 of the UMPs to AK-47. So immediately, right off that round, the CT side establishes their economy, which takes away strength of Cloud9. I mentioned how good they are at kind of overcoming and really piling it on when the opponents don't have a lot of money to spend. So that was great, and it was pretty much all mousesports from there. Second half is just all Tim, right? I mean, that outside bomb site, nothing did great in ladder room. He had a couple big rounds, but Tim in every different situation he was in outside, I mean, he was incredible, working around smokes, around the trains. He was huge in clutches. He had that very awkward clutch in the first half, that 1 versus 3 that turns into a 1-on-1, but like he won everything from there. You just make up for that kind of a curious situation. So that outside defense, it's kind of curious that mousesports didn't seem to test the inner bomb site too much, because outside was closed to them for the majority. Even Shroud over and Ivy had great impact, and even if he didn't, the setup was so friendly to, you know, you could take control of Ivy as mousesports, but you couldn't get anything from there because they were playing so aggressively elsewhere.
That was also my main worry for Cloud9's T side. Discussing in the inner bomb site, we see Cloud9 go inner one time, and they got the bomb down. They lost the after plant, which was a 2-on-3 situation. I feel like, why not go back, right? So you start off really well on the T side, 6-2, and then it falls back, and then the last round, they do try and like do a small inner split. Didn't really work out, but I would have loved to just see more inner aggression.
This is the round. Obviously, you fancy Lowell in that position. He did everything right, didn't he, in that round, except for the end.
He had Stewie beat like 90% of that. Yeah. Like probably if you replay that round. And this is the thing. It comes down as well. You could tell mousesports. I think a lot of it was the pressure of being eliminated from the major was getting to them, because I think Lowell, if he plays that clutch out 10 more times, he's probably way more aggressive around the train. He probably doesn't give Stewie the time to put that smoke down and just diffuse inside of it. And also, I mean, another play that you have to kind of not necessarily criticize, but Oscar had some, you know, some like some misses that you don't normally see out of him, but more than anything, he wasn't being as assertive as we normally see him. Like, he's the opera that you can really feel puts his stamp on the match, and he didn't really do that. He had some good impact, but it wasn't like he wasn't that force that we know in matches that he's been for mousesports for some time.
Yeah. You can definitely see the experience here coming from Cloud9. This is obviously not their first major, and then for mousesports, as Jace was touching on, both Oscar and also Robs. I mean, it's the first major for both of them. And it's elimination game as well, so it's definitely nerves going into it. I feel like
it's a learning thing for them, isn't it?
Definitely.
I mean, I know we keep saying that teams that go out, we get, well, Shane, they played well, and they're unlucky. And Jason's right, we have been kind of kind, I think, to the teams over the week.
Definitely.
But it's true when it comes to mousesports. They are a young team. They've got a brand new in-game leader. They've got 2 new players, relatively inexperienced. This is a growing team. They can do well in the future.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that as long as Chris J keeps on getting more experience as an in-game leader, we did see a lot of mistakes on their T side. I mean, the last one is just like Jason saw as well. They go inner, they split inner, but they have bomb and Ivy, right?
Yeah.
And sure, maybe that was a mistake. Maybe they were deciding, or maybe in the beginning of the round, the call was, hey, let's just split outside, right? But even if, just make sure that the bomb is around Pop Dog, a ladder room there, and so then you have more options. Because instead, when the bomb goes down Ivy, you have 2 guys in. It doesn't really matter if you have the bomb star, right? You're going to lose the round anyway. So a lot of very small mistakes, which I think is very easy to fix.
Yeah.
What I do like about mousesports now, they are out of the tournament, but I like the change of pace that Chris J has brought to this team, right? We saw the game yesterday, they played a lot of aggression. When it comes to like the switching now on Cobblestone, they played super aggressive the whole T side. That's also a thing that, it's a working point, right? Where it's like when it stops working, you need to switch that pace up. You need to start using the strats that you have. It didn't really happen. They just kept on going the aggressive pace. Whereas for this game as well, for mousesports 9, we only saw, they won the pistol and they won the eco rounds. After that, it was nothing else. So it's definitely a lot of work to be done. But I think overall, their seat size are looking pretty decent. If Oscar would have been a little bit better this game, I think that we would have seen even a better half from them coming into it. And yeah, we're back to the seat side, which Jason was saying, like automatically just a pure beast on
Powdering
the other
bottoms
side.
outside. He's a daddy.
All right, okay, let's bring in Jordan, who is in the player area right now. Jordan, good morning, and congrats on the win. It was a tough match, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I mean, mousesports, you kind of knew what they were going to throw at you, I guess, today. It was very close all the way through, and then there was that deciding kind of pivotal smoke diffuse that kind of changed the course of the end of the match.
Yeah. It always feels kind of like undeserved when you win that many clutches. So it's like a gross feeling, but I feel like disrespectful not being happy with the win. So I'm definitely happy.
No, absolutely, and you should be, because that's the way it goes, and I'm sure you've had plenty of those go against you in the past as well.
Yeah. So yeah. Good game.
What was the signal you were giving at the end? You were smacking your forehead with both hands. What was that all about?
Like 3 rounds in a row, I dinked someone and just didn't get a kill, and I'm just like, I don't know. I felt so on point too when I woke up. Like I got a workout in. I was like warming up. I felt good on my DM and like when I was shooting early, and just not getting the kills I wanted.
Just a bit of frustration.
So, try not to vent it to the team, so I just hit myself in the head.
That's fair.
Whatever works for you, Joe. Whatever works. Obviously, this was a survival game, so it's not. I guess the feeling afterwards is a bit tainted, isn't it? Because you kind of won, but you've still got work to do.
Yeah, I mean, just still in it. That's just the key message we're saying, still in it. In terms of some of those small things that went wrong, some of it's day-to-day. Some stuff just happens and doesn't mean Tim could have won his clutch. We could have lost another clutch. We could have, like you said, we could have focused more on inner. But at the same time, some of those outside rounds where we take the site and then a bomb trainer guy gets 2, it's like, are we not covering each other properly? Are we overlooking small things? So really, it's just keep our heads in the game. And some of the little details will fall into place. And then outside that, obviously, just focus on maybe developing little things with our maps, learning from Big Clan, trying to add some things to our game.
Indeed.
No, in a real way, actually.
In a real way, okay,
yeah,
good.
In a real way,
Good.
In a real way. They're actually, a lot of these tactics, even you saw flip side, it's crazy how some teams are bringing the exec straight back into the round, and so some fun stuff to look at.
Good stuff. We've got one of your old mates on the panel. I'm sure he's got a couple of questions for you, Moses.
Yeah, I mean, you just seem to be all business today, Jordan. It seems like it's just get the job done. What's like the conversation that you guys have in the team like last night coming into the day where this is elimination, or you have so much riding on the line? Like what's kind of the mentality that you guys try and instill the day before?
We feel bad for mousesports. That's the mentality that we instill. Sorry guys, we're gonna knock you out of the tournament.
All right.
And that's
fair.
That's we just try to a little bit of law of attraction combined with some prep. And, just kind of not being ignorant, knowing that it's probably going to be Inferno or Train. The basic facts, and then knowing where their offers play, knowing those things. So.
What's that feeling like when you're up 6-2 on the T side and you kind of lose, the last 6 of 7 rounds of the match or somewhere along those lines? Like, because you always feel like you kind of lose that half at that point, don't you?
Yeah, at that point, I think it's just controlling that voice inside your head, knowing why you lost rounds, and not letting that narrative kind of dictate the future of the game. So that comes with just experience, I guess.
How do you think this tournament has gone, or actually overall, because you've been in Europe for a while, right? And ESL 1 obviously went much better than expected. How do you guys feel as a team? Because the game yesterday versus G2, for example, you could have easily won there as well, right? You could have been in 2-1 right now, even 2. You would have been through to playoffs essentially today.
Yeah.
So what do you think as a team like this? I saw somewhere that one of your teammates said that the European practice that you guys have just really helped you guys out.
Yeah, it's kind of loaded what you just said there, but yeah, essentially, on that note, yes, I think just playing at a higher intensity obviously brings it up. Practice how you play. SK does it well in NA, but even they hit boot camps a lot more than we do. They head over to the SK offices in Germany and stuff, and they just try to bring their intensity up. And obviously the team house helps with the NA practice a bit. We're not in one right now. Excuses. Either way, our intensity is up while we're here. And it helps our team. Whatever the reason, our intensity's up on these trips, and I think it just gives us more of a chance to focus on the details. And then the more hard work you get, the little bit of luck kind of goes your way. And I think it's not always a matter of skill, right? At this level, it's just kind of that teamwork, that game plan. So I think that is the main difference for being here.
Yeah, a little bit of luck thrown in there as well. Wouldn't go amiss now and again, I guess, as well. Congrats on the win, and obviously go and get some rest. We'll see you this afternoon or the early evening for your final match.
Thanks,
Good luck
guys.
later on, Jordan.
So nothing there from Cloud9. They do survive. It's mousesports that drop out. It's a decent performance, though, from Cloud9, and we'll see that in the scoreboard. It's reflected in the fact that, as Jason said at the very beginning of this segment, 29 kills for Automatic. It's an absolute monster of a game.
Yeah. It was mostly the CT side as well, I feel like.
Yeah, he very well could have been, right? He was just a linchpin of that defense. He was everywhere, especially playing like around the E-box and behind that middle train, like such a critical portion because you have so many different angles. So you always have to be mobile. You always have to be ready for the new angle to pop up to have an enemy. So great job there, and obviously you can't do it alone. That's phenomenal communication from his teammates as well, knowing, passing on the information of where the next opponent is coming. But, Jordan was frustrated with himself for missing some shots. I thought he did great in ladder room. Yeah, it's not the flashiest kills. Yes, it's not the most difficult kills, and yes, he probably missed some he normally gets. But I mean, that's such an important part of the map, and you could see at times his experience of just staying alive in the ladder room, creating a second angle for mousesports to have to consider on some of those hits.
And let's be real as well. At the end of the day, it's all about winning the game, right? And that's exactly what happened. I mean, if you would have had a bad game and ended up losing the game, yeah, sure, you can go back and see what you could have done better, right? Yeah. But now this is a win. You should be more than happy with it.
But he's a perfectionist as well, isn't he?
Definitely.
And we know that about him, so he's going to be frustrated every time he has what he thinks is a bad game, even if it looks like he's had a decent game.
No, of course. I mean, I actually didn't think that he played poorly at all. There were some situations, like he was saying as well, like the Dink could have gone either way. One extra bullet there, he would have got an extra kill. But like I said, at the end of the day, if you do have Automatic going off, he is definitely the MVP for the series. I don't think necessarily there's too much to go into with that.
It's one of those games where you actually look at the scoreboard, and I'm actually shocked to see nothing with only 14 kills. It felt like he had a way bigger game than that.
Yeah,
for
14
sure.
Good kills, though, and this man had 29 good kills. Automatic is the MVP for this particular game. Plenty of trades in there amongst them as well, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's just a product of the defense as well. Maybe like Jordan falls and he's able to get some of those trade kills. So, I mean, it's just a great job on the defense from Automatic. And that's where they came back. mousesports didn't win a single gun round in that second half. So, phenomenal defense outside. All
right, we're going to take a break. And when we head back from that break, we will have more action from day number 4. It is knockout day, of course. Teams fighting to stay alive. No different than the next matchup as Penta go in search of their first ever win over Flipside. 3 out of 3 for the boys in green so far. Can they make it 4 and stay alive? We'll find out soon.
Coming up next, Penta Sports versus